What's that? What have we here? Mouse that is clearly dying on me. Not ideal. Oh no! 2 seconds, everybody. Alright, that's much better. Good morning, Clam Wolf. I'm losing a bit of a fight here, but I think we'll be okay. Stay there, buddy. Don't fall. Alright. How are things in here? Good day, good day. How was your weekend, Clam Wolf? Cliff says their weekend was all right. That's good news. All right, so, oh no, I gotta run and grab some parchment. My weekend was all right. You know, it was busy, but how do I want to say this? Like Saturday, the weather here was really nice, and I was very productive on Saturday. Yesterday, cold, rainy. Like I stayed indoors. I watched a couple movies. So Sunday was also good. You just change it up a little bit. I love the idea of the palette cam. I think that it is going to be a very nice addition to things. So I can start some of the things that are sometimes I get questions and I don't have a good way of explaining it, what I'm doing. But I think it'll be nice to have the palette cam to help demonstrate some of that stuff. But my desire to clean it up a little bit, get the camera in a better placement. I left my parchment paper sitting out on the in the kitchen. That's like 12 seconds away. Glue and Bolters, good morning. How are you today? Give me just the hottest moment to go grab that. I'll be right back. Also, for those that are here, I'm going to demystify one of the greatest challenges when you go to use a wet palette, all right? It's not really very technical. It's not super creative. It's just my way of controlling this little issue. Alright, so here we go with the parchment. There it is. And what you'll see along the edges here is it will start to curl. You ready? Here it is. Paint pot. Slide it out to the edge. Uncurl it. Do it on all the corners. And the moment it can, it'll actually lay itself back down. There it is. That's the tech. I guess the other side is like so. I also think today we're gonna, don't mind my water and other beautiful things back there. My desk is such a fantastic mess. Oh, Brogami coming in with a, is that sloth got an attitude? What is this emote? It is a sloth, and he's salty. Oh no! What have we done to upset that thing? Who could say? So I made another super slimy base over the weekend. It seemed to just fit. Gallo Fire coming says, "Hey Nomadic Chris, hope all's well. Things are going all right, I believe. I would say things are in a good place. It's Monday morning. You know what that means. We just had a wonderful weekend. So yeah, here we have it. Another beautiful muddy mess. And I think I'm going to take it a little bit further than what I did before. And we're going to try to add a little more dynamic nature to the thing. So we're going to take my... just trying to see if I had like an old mixing cup. Here it is. I knew I did. So it's just something I mixed up some paint in. We're going to drop a little bit of the... I noticed I didn't get the lid on this very tight, so it probably just cured up at the top. Take a paper clip and clean this off. We get... Cliff says, okay, then it's my internet. Anyone else getting tiny hiccups? Yeah, let me know if they're having any issues, because internet has been off and on with everything that's been going on in the world. But I think it's not unique to me. I think everybody's been getting a little love. So yeah, let me know if there's something going on, everybody. We got Bacco Colis Stream says, "Morning Nomadic, how's the Monday treating you?" Is it Colio? Colio. Bacho Colio. Buttery smooth so far. See, that's what we aim for. Try to keep that audio on point. Try to keep... Got this pop filter here because I use P's too much. I don't know. I said dropping too many P words. All right, let's see if this is going to pour yet. There we go. So this is the AK Interactive Ultra Matte Varnish. Claim of coming in with that dabby chew. I love this stuff. I think it has... Some people use it as like this is the greatest thing in the world. Everybody should own it. I'm going to tell you something. It is expensive, and you get, like, not a lot of it. Okay, but it is good. It does a very good job for what it is. Just be aware it's not like God's gift to varnish. It does tend to gray things out because it is so matte. Something to be aware of. Just something to think about. Nothing major. What we're going to do... Because this came out quite a bit more uniform than I expected. I think, if I had to guess, it's because I didn't allow enough time for the varnishes to dry before applying both. For anybody that wasn't around last week when I did a demonstration on this, we use a Ultramat, which is, you know, just the flattest varnish I own. And we're also using a high gloss, just Liquitex bulk buy it in large jugs. And what I did was I applied the Ultramat to the raised edges to simulate dry, cracked earth. And then I put some of that Ultra, what do we got here? Just general high gloss. Well, that's no good. We'll come over here. Some high gloss varnish. And we use this to demonstrate, or like to symbolize lower, murky, wet. Cliff says, it's that Pennsylvania thing. What is? How's that Monday treating you? Bajo says, when did you change the setup? Looks good. Well, thank you. We started with that last week. We got a newer camera. And we're setting up. Got the microphone moved over. Got the pop filter on it. Just trying to, in general, be a little introspective and watch my streams and think like what makes me cringe, and also asking people objectively like what do you like seeing, what do you want to see more of, what are you not so interested in. And like for the most part it's been me just asking like what do you want to see me paint more of, what will we like to learn more about subject matter wise. And now talking about those popping peas. Yeah. Was it popping? I'm trying with this filter here. Anyhow, so we're going to see once this dries if that's good enough or if I need to come back through with that gloss and hit it down in the recesses. There's one thing I might need to grab. Yeah, let me 2 seconds. I'm gonna grab the plane real quick. I had to put a light on this camera so it could be, where it is and be bright enough, but it's definitely kind of washing me out a little bit. I don't think it's like the biggest deal, but it is definitely happening. We'll see how that goes. Said Pennsylvania thing. That's what the popping peas were. Okay. Had nothing to do with the fact that I talk about painting and paints and making colors pop all the darn time. Hey, Jan, how are you today? We were just having a bit of a subtle conversation about contrast without bringing up the word contrast. Effectively, by not only painting brighter, warmer colors in the peaks of this mud, yellows and reds, you bring in warmer colors seem to appear closer to you, and then painting cooler neutral browns and gray greens into the recesses. Not only from like a realistic standpoint, you get these like colors that represent the murkiness underneath a puddle, but from from your eyes standpoint, you get these colors that appear far away, and so that's also pretty cool. Programi says field of depth. Yeah. Get a little bit of that nature. So warm colors appear to be closer to you, cold colors appear to be farther away. So we've done that. Also, something you can do to make darker colors appear darker is make them shinier. So if you're ever painting a shadow, you can add adding a little ink to the mix isn't a bad thing because it will appear darker already. When you're trying to do highlights, you have to mitigate the satin nature of paint and get it more flat, because then it'll appear warmer, closer, and so you can play in that level of contrast as well. So here, when we put that high gloss in the recesses and that ultra matte in the top, once we dry up here a bit, I think we'll get a little something there as well. Now we got to start working on this gent. I think I got a little blue tack here. We'll get him. We're starting to get to the point where he needs to be on a holder. Jan says, doing fine, pal. Getting ready to head downtown for the weekly shopping. Well, hopefully you and the missus are safe, unless you're doing it flying solo. It's weird thinking about how stressful something as mundane as that can be these days, huh? It's an interesting time. Something I know some of the viewers in here have been interested in lately and could perhaps be of interest here shortly. I've got two different kinds of AK Interactive streaking grime. It's a very popular solution for making grim, dark models, getting things that'll show up in that kind of filthy 41st century look. And I think I'm going to play around a little bit with some of those here very soon. Need that. I think my next project is going to involve some of that. There we go. There he is. Okay, so just zooming in here for a moment, because when we last left this model, we were insisting on some of this red for his trim piece here, this as sort of native look to it. I'm going to clean it up a little bit. We got Steven over 60 in here. How are you today? Says, morning, sir. How are you? Well, I'm doing all right. I had an okay weekend for sure. And I'm thinking this week's going to be good as well. We might even start, even though I want to tidy up that trim, I think it's bugging me more that this plasma piece is not realistic. So we're gonna blast that out real quick. If anybody's interested, yes, I put my metallics on my wet palette. That's how I do it. Steven, I hope you've had a fun weekend. Things on everybody's fronts, I hope things have been well. Here's one trick I like to use with my metallics. I take pretty much just a solid amount of opaque paint. In this case it's black because we're going to be using a darker metallic. And it doesn't take much for a metallic to overrun a standard paint. Okay, so now we're going to have like a pretty nice mixture to go forth and paint this bolter with. Or bolter. How offensive to the plasma. So we're just going to start sort of slopping this color in. And this is that darker mixture for it, right? So it's going to get laid down here in the lower portion of the gun. As we come to the inside, I think we'll do the same. I mean, this is going to be the darker side of things, so maybe we'll just do the whole half of it in this color. I think that could look good. But then on the other side, as we sort of transition to the peak, we're going to work our way down. Let's just start up here. With the pure, this is just lead belcher. Oops, I should come onto the camera with that. Steven says, nah, I have not been feeling well. That's tough. It's been cold and rainy out here. So it's been hard to get motivated. Saturday was a good day. Got a bar top for our kitchen island. I call it a bar top. It's a wooden slab. I've been refinishing slowly. Okay. That's good. We'll let that dry. And that ought to add a little crispness to this. Is anybody noticing like the camera has any lag to it at all? Flickshot says, hello, that looks sick. Well, thank you so much. Been trying to get the frame rate priority adjusted on the camera, and it might be a little off. But it also could just be a Streamlabs thing, and it might be coming through correctly on your side. But like when I move things around, does it look slow compared to like when I'm moving up here around my face? Is there a fluidity difference there? Good morning, Flickshot. Didn't notice any lab, cool, or any lag. That's what's up. Yeah, if anybody sees anything like that, we're running new equipment, so we're trying to make sure everything's running all right and we don't have any drama. Here I'm just snagging some of the little bit maybe, but nothing that's annoying. Okay, nothing that we can't wait till later to fuss with. Alright, this is just this darker tone here. I know the camera's zoomed in a lot, but it's hard to pick out these details without it. And these little edges that rubbed were just from me handling the model while I'm painting it. I think we just kind of hit the point in the painting process where that's not going to float anymore. Steven says, made a huge mistake on 2 miniatures I was going to start on. I washed them real well, but I guess I did not let them completely dry. Now the primer is tacky. You working on 40K models or something that's maybe a different kind of plastic, like a PVC? I think is what they use at like Reaper. Yeah, Reaper. And did you use a rattle can? And if so, is this the first time you've used a rattle can on Reaper's bones? Because that tackiness can just happen when you go to spray it on a PVC. And I've had that happen. It happened. Here's a bugger. My little brother, this is a few years back before I actually got into painting, he bought Relic, which is a nice 40K game. All the miniatures for it were like little busts. They were like a tiny little bust of different heroes. And there's something in that rattle can, Steven, that jacks with that material. They don't like it. Yeah, if you look that up, you'll start seeing people with a very similar response. And there may be certain kinds of rattle can that don't cause it, but I'm not familiar. Clem says if you cover it with a base color, it'll sometimes take care of that problem, but you can't use most rattle cans on Reaper bones. That's true. And it's not a knock on Reaper, it's just a type of plastic. Board games, like when I did it, I was painting up a bunch of Privateer Press stuff. So I had metal, resin, plastic, and then they weren't Reaper bones, they were those Relic models, but they just had a weird reaction. And what I ended up doing was just stripping the models. It's one of the rare times I'll strip a model. I tried to clean as much of that garbage off of them. and I reprimed with an airbrush primer. At the time, I didn't have an airbrush, so I just used I just brushed it on, and they were fine. No problem at all. Since you're in the States, there's a dollar store product called LA's Totally Awesome. Like a bucket jug. It's like a yellowish cleaner. Pretty good for scrubbing down counters, but it'll eat the paint right off. And it doesn't damage the plastic, which is one thing you do need to watch with those softer plastics. How many things did you prime up? You said 2? That wouldn't be too bad to clean up. But yeah, that's tough. Let's check on our metallics here. Yeah, that's starting to dry up nice. Sadly, not giving me the definition adjustment that I really wanted. I think I mixed too much of that lead belcher in. So we'll try to clean that up. We got cheeky desk nargling says that's a nice trader marine you're working on there. Hey, look out! Fallen detected. Yeah, we're trying to get it rocking. I started working on the plasma color, and then I was like, I really should paint the rest of this gun, because if I make a mistake, Spot is coming in with a subscription. Look out! Good morning. Yeah, that's a Benson hype. Also, if you hit exclamation $, you're gonna get a nice straight cash to spam the chat with. Those are my 2 commands I have set up. Spot us, good morning. How are things? Also started on this leather, the leather piece. It was nice to start to get that effect. No, it's just the straight money. The freaking, what is it? Number 4. Yeah, it is. Sorry, Benson, I set you up for failure. That's on me. I'm gonna grab some of this straight black. All right, everybody, we're a little tight here. I'm gonna try to, if anybody's interested in seeing how much wiggle my hands have, now's the time. I know we're a little bit shiny here, but sorry, it's hard to want to chat and clean these details out, but we'll get to it. What happened before Spottus came through and threw me all off? Yeah, Cheeky Nurgling had just hopped in. We were talking to Steven about the ill effects certain rattle can primers can have on softer plastics. I don't know what the reaction